the Retromini, a cheap Chinese retro handheld emulation device. It supposedly supports CPS, which probably is arcade, Game Boy Advance, Super Famicom, SEGA, which Sega console, Dreamcast, I don't know, and NES, Nintendo Entertainment System. Now in the box, you get the console, a USB cable, the manual, and a SD card that says 32 on it. Now this SD card contains most of the games. On the console itself are like 100 preloaded games, but they're all the same as on all of these devices, in my opinion. I bought this one for $23.11. The listing called it the Ambernick Retromini. I've also seen it though from Powkitty apparently, and from Funny Playing. So this is probably something that's either being resold by these different retro handheld companies, or somebody's just pretending to be these companies and selling this handheld. Now let me insert the SD card. Now with the SD card inserted, we can turn on the device. The SD card, however, even though it says 32 on it, not gigabytes, just 32, it is 16 gigabytes in size, which is weird to me. Now you do have a few categories, it reminds me a bit of a PSP, you could say. You have game, music, video, picture, ebook, file explorer, and system settings. Now I did record this video already. You have the ebook reader, which is just a glorified TXT reader. You can't read PDF, you can't read EPUB, you can't read HTML, TXT only. Now the way it's styled is after what I presume is the Chinese language, where it goes from top to bottom and then from left to right, which is why it scrolls horizontally. Leaving the ebook reader takes forever. I press the B button and now it starts loading finally, and now I'm finally out of it, which this device is really suffering from that as well. Same for the pictures. I go into the pictures, it loads a while, and then it shows the pictures. As an example here, we have a little angry Miyamoto. The pictures look alright on it, like the screen resolution isn't really anything to write home about. You also have video. As an example here, you have the example video. It's quite specific about what it wants. I tried a 1080p video, which just gives me an error. For the music, it plays it quite alright, to be honest. It takes a while to load it as well, just like the ebook. Instead of going out, going in, it takes like 10 seconds. I will put the timer up. And then you start it. Right, and when I put the volume up, just a little, that's about max volume. And I don't mean, that's about max volume, it could go much higher. No, I mean, it's alright from the loudness. Okay, that is max volume, but it's like, most of the wheel is underutilized. This doesn't change anything. I don't know why. Now last, we have the games. Now I will open them through the file manager because it just lists all of the games that are on the device, which in the case of the included SD cards are like 1,000, 2,000 games. So I put a few games on there. Sega Master System doesn't work. Sega Genesis, I think, Mega Drive, doesn't work. NES does work as it says on the box. However, the resolution of the screen is too small. Because of the small resolution, especially the text is unlegible in certain times. Like the score, player, and whatever it says below it is just phasing into each other. The textures look weird when they move. The display itself is not the worst when it comes to screen tearing. I've experienced much worse. This would be playable on that regard. But the resolution makes no sense. Now next up we have the SNES. And the SNES is a weird quirk. I don't know why it does that. But this is a game I know very well. Now something you might see now in a second, which if you don't know the game, this looks pretty alright, right? But the background is brown. Besides the resolution, when we go into the game, it doesn't run too well. Let me state that from the get-go. But the background shouldn't be this brown. Or it shouldn't be brown at all. The game is has more of a green background. And the fish should be more orange. And all SNES games I tested have this. Which, it's just strange why the emulator would do that. And that's, besides the point that you only have an A and a B, and not an X and a Y. Now the Game Boy has another quirk. I've especially noticed it with Wario Land. So let me boot that up real quick. And what it has is this. See this? How it freezes? Every transition in this game freezes the game. Or the entire console to be precise. When I press start and select at the same time, it should immediately throw up the menu, right? So let me show you doing a transition. So when I go into this menu, see? It freezes the entire device. And I have no idea why it does that. It's a Game Boy Advance. It's not a very powerful system. It shouldn't freeze your device. And it makes the game really unplayable, besides the fact that the performance isn't too great either. Now you can play Game Boy and Game Boy Color games through Goomba. Some of the listings even state, hey, compatible with Game Boy and Game Boy Color. But they fail to mention that you need to go through Goomba. Now, I've noticed two very weird quirks. I don't know if they are from Goomba, though. One is with Super Mario Land. Listen to the music. The performance is also not really great, by the way. It sometimes skips a beat, I feel like, and the pitch is just lower overall. So that's already pretty hard to justify. But the weirdest one I encountered is with Super Mario Bros. Deluxe for the Game Boy Color. It takes a while to boot into it. It will freeze at the beginning when you reach the level select. And it has an extremely strange bugginess to it, which I would not expect. If anybody knows if this is from Goomba itself, please tell me. Because look at this. This is the first level. See that? It teleports me around. It despawns enemies, which I might be able to show off. Yeah, see? That one despawned. And it makes this game unplayable. And it's so close as a device. It's so close to being what it should be. A device to play Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance at best. I don't expect NES, SNES, and whatever. Just Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and the Game Boy Advance would just be the cherry on top. But it fails on all fronts. Everything, no matter which system, has a quirk to it. no matter which function, has a quirk to it. The pictures, it's just a low-res screen. The videos, same thing, and you can't even use higher-res videos. The music, it takes forever to load the music library. It's so weird. This device could be good. It could be fantastic. It's an older device as well, so they don't really support it anymore. I wish you would get a revision of this one, just with a better emulator on it. Or at the very least, with actual Game Boy and Game Boy Color support, because these games should run. I mean, they don't run well because you have to go through 2 layers of emulation. But if you wouldn't have to do that, I think this would be a great device. And that brings me to the end of this video, because there is custom firmware. However, a lot of the links are dead, and they're not that old. So I try, if I can, put it on here, and we'll make a second video. But if that video doesn't come out, you can be rest assured I didn't manage to do it. Or it just wasn't really an improvement to begin with. But maybe I can find something cool about it. And with that, I want to end it here and say, so far, my conclusion is, don't buy it. Just don't. It's not worth the $23.11. It's not worth $10 if you buy it used. It's not even worth $5. You can find better. And with that being said, enjoy your day. Until the next video. Goodbye.